I'm on a couple minutes early just to check that you can see everything and to get my setup okay. Always looks like I'm wonky, but I don't know why. Just to make sure I am actually live. Yes, okay. So, welcome back to another Facebook Live yoga class. Happy Friday. I hope you've had a lovely week. I hope you've got a nice weekend planned. Hope you've been enjoying the sun and all that good stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to come on a couple of minutes early to set everything up. So I'm just gonna hang around a little bit. I mean, it is effectively 12 now. But I do have some stuff to say before doing this class today. We are going to be running through some headstand prep. So I just wanted to talk about headstand a little bit before we begin. It's a complicated posture, and it's one of those postures that everyone wants to do. For no good reason. I just want to let you know before coming into this class that being able to do a headstand doesn't make you a better person. It isn't the key to enlightenment, and it doesn't make you a better yogi, whatever that means. So yeah, headstand in and of itself isn't anything special. I just want to let you know that, because journey to headstand can be long, a lot of patience required, and I don't want anyone to feel bad if they can't do a headstand. It's not important, okay? It doesn't really matter. It's a fun posture though. And it's part of the Ashtanga sequence, which is why I feel like it's important to explore in a bit more detail. This isn't the right format to learn headstand, okay? If you have never done a headstand before, you will not be coming up into full headstand today. Do not come up into full headstand today. In order to learn headstand properly, safely, you need to be in a classroom with a teacher, because who is going to catch you when you fall? I am, okay? I'm going to be standing behind you and I'm going to be supporting you. So if you do not practice headstand, if this is the first introduction to headstand you've ever had, we won't be coming up into the full posture today. What we are going to focus on is the preparation. Now, the least important part of headstand is getting the legs up, okay? I know that is the bit everyone focuses on, getting upside down. It's the least important part of this posture. If you have all the other components working correctly, then the legs are going to start rising naturally by themselves. You won't even have to do anything. So getting the legs up, least important part. What is more important, number one, there's quite a few number ones, but this is my first number one, shoulders. Now, shoulders are key to headstand. As we come upside down, as we place the crown of the head on the floor, we don't want any weight, minimal weight coming down through the crown of the head. The whole posture is supported by your arms, your forearms, your biceps, and your shoulders. Now, when I learned headstand, I learned it as if you shouldn't be coming up anyway unless you could keep your head just a little bit off the floor. Not for the whole time, but at least for a brief period, having so much strength in the shoulders that you could literally come off your head and be upside down. That's how much effort we want in the shoulders. So obviously a lot of this prep today is going to be concerning the shoulders. Core, obviously, for balance. Hip flexors as well. So we want to be able to, at least to begin with, when people come into headstand, they tend not to pike the legs up, so sometimes they'll come in by drawing one thigh into the body and then the other, and then sort of balancing upside down like that. So hip flexors we want working a bit. Core for sure. Hamstrings. Now everyone forgets about the hamstrings in headstands. Really important. You need to be able to tiptoe your feet in towards your body so your hips stack over your shoulders, and then and only then do you start to lift the legs up if you are piking up. All of these are concepts, if they're not familiar, we will explore them in a bit more detail. So if it all sounds like gibberish, don't worry. But for sure we're going to be working core, shoulders, hamstrings, and we're going to be doing some hip flexor work as well, drawing the thighs as much as possible in towards the body. If you have any injuries, you need to check with your doctor before doing this. Again, we're not going to be taking the legs up, but we will be doing the prep for headstand, okay, towards the end of the class. So we have to get used to being upside down a little bit as well. While we're not going to bring the feet up off the floor, both of them at the same time, we will be placing the crown of the head on the floor. Be careful of your neck. Any neck injuries, skip this class for today, come back to it later. Yeah, I feel like that's all I have to say. Did I get that done quite quick? Yeah, got that done really quick. yeah, I feel like I've said everything. Let me just have a think. If you missed the beginning of this class, I'm sorry. All of that was really important. Yeah, I think that's it. But I just don't want anyone to get too caught up on thinking that headstand is the be all and end all. That's really the main thing. All right, so we are gonna start by coming down onto our backs. We're gonna work through the hamstrings a little bit, do some core stuff, and then we'll just gradually build up the heat. Towards the end, we're gonna be doing lots of dolphins, #1 prep for headstand, you can't beat it, and then we'll have a look at the preparation. Okay, so moving mindfully, being cautious as you move through this class. Don't rush. I've seen some shit headstands in my time. That's one thing I wanted to say. I knew there's something else. I've seen some shit headstands. When I first started, my headstands were pretty terrible. I look back on pictures and I think, oh my God. Now, if you do not have the strength in the shoulders, it's pointless in coming up. Like when I look back at the pictures of me doing headstands, my shoulders were right by my ears. My neck was really compressed. And the trick is to try and keep the shoulders drawing back. Leave your neck nice and spacious. I've seen some terrible headstands, honestly. And there's no point in coming up into a version of headstand if it's gonna like kill you. Not that we're gonna come up into headstand today anyway. Just focusing on the prep. Then when we're back in the classroom together, we can come up into headstand. Although it's if you're much taller than me, it can be difficult. All right, I feel like that's a nice little chat. Alright, so we're going to start on our backs today. We've got a lot to get through, so I'm going to see if I can pick up the pace a little bit. But we are going to start on the backs, we are going to bring the attention to the breath, and we are going to take the attention around the body just to begin. So legs straight, feet falling out sideways. If your lower back needs a little bit of extra support, then bend the knees, have the soles of the feet on the floor. I'm just sorting my hair out, don't mind me. And then place the hands either side of the body, palms facing up. So already we're opening into the shoulders here, broad across the chest, chin tucks in towards the chest ever so slightly. So you're finding lots of length through the back of the neck, really important, length through the spine. You know, we always need the neck to be long. Can't think of any postures. There's a few postures where we sort of like over around the back, but we never want to crunch into the neck. We always want the neck to be nice and spacious. And then just take a few deep breaths, we made it. So everything's really heavy here, the head's heavy, the shoulders heavy, back of the head heavy. Taking your attention to your breath, so inhales and exhales equal in length. Breathing through the nose and finding a steady rhythm that's sustainable for you, so something you can maintain throughout this class. Also taking a short second to bring the attention into the room, onto the mat. So while we won't be coming up into full headstand today, the full posture is a balance. And if you practice the full posture, you should know that as soon as you take away the attention from the body, as soon as your mind wanders, there's a real tendency to start falling out of things. So with any balance, whether it's on one leg or on your head, you really do need to hone your attention, to focus, to keep the breath steady, and to be very, very mindful of what every part of the body is doing, from the feet all the way to the fingers. So the more we can establish that focus here, the easier it's going to be when you come finally to practice these the quite tricky sort of postures. And then just take your attention around the body, check in any injuries. While we will not be coming, I feel like I need to keep saying it, while we will not be coming up into full headstand today, unless you are, already practice it, while we will not be coming up into full headstand, you still need to be mindful of your neck, because the prep involves some weight through the crown of the head. So mindful of your neck, mindful of your back. Okay, fabulous. And then open your eyes if your eyes are shut. We're just going to begin. So taking a cat stretch here, pointing the toes down the mat, arms overhead, lengthen. So making yourself as long as you possibly can, really pointing the toes, lifting the hands, and feeling that full body stretch. Lower back, tops of the legs, shoulders. You may feel an arch lift in your lower back as you lengthen. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side and make some circles. So back of the head on the floor, hands around the knees or the shins to guide the movement. So your lower back will lift as you squeeze the thighs in towards the belly. So seeing if we can bring the thighs as close as possible in towards the stomach. Rocking out any tension in the lower back especially. And then bring both feet to the mat. So we're going to begin with hamstrings. Like I said, everyone forgets about the hamstrings in headstand, but actually very, very important. So we're going to leave the left knee bent, left foot on the floor. Take hold of the back of the right thigh, then as you inhale, extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. If your hamstring's very tight, you're going to want to use a strap or something similar around the back of the right thigh instead of the hands. So we're keeping the shoulders rolling back and down so the neck is long, the sides of the neck are long. Seeing if we can get that right leg as straight as possible, even if that means lowering the leg ever so slightly, then really working the right toes back as well to bring a stretch into the calf. So the upper body is relaxed at this point. Chest is broad. There's some pressure in the arms to bring the right leg back, but the arms are not overly tense, and then the left foot simply resting on the floor. We're not pressing down heavy into that foot. If you press down heavy into that foot, the base of the spine will lift, and we don't want the base of the spine to lift. Okay, with every exhale, maybe seeing if you can draw the toes a little higher up towards the face. And hamstrings get really tight quite easily, so don't worry if this all feels a little bit gnarly. Leg shake is normal, just do your best and keep your breath slow, steady through the nose. Okay, fabulous. Now keeping the right leg where it is, keeping the hands or the strap around the back of the right thigh. As you inhale, we're going to extend the left leg down the mat, so now both legs are straight. And then really work the left toes back as well to start getting the stretch into the calf. See if you can ground down through the left calf. All the while seeing if maybe we can gently ease the right leg back. You're going to start to feel this maybe a little bit more towards your groin. Keeping the hands or the strap where it is. Well, keeping the strap where it is for sure, but if you're taking hold of the back of the thigh with the hands, you may be able to crawl the hands up towards the right calf, maybe the right foot, but only if the shoulders can stay rolling back. So don't take the hands higher up the leg at the expense of the upper body becoming really tight. Upper body's relaxed. We're going to get to the upper body later, so you wanna keep it relaxed for now. Just focusing on this right hamstring, left hamstring. Okay, good. A few more deep breaths here. I've done it again. I've put a moisturizer on. Never moisturised before yoga. It makes you slippy. Okay, fab. Then exhale, just release the right leg, let it gently come down to the floor, and then give your straight legs a shake. We're going to change sides. So remember, one hamstring may feel a little bit different to the other. You may need to modify this side, or it might feel slightly easier. So right knee bent to begin with, right foot on the floor, then just taking the back of the left thigh and extending the left leg up towards the ceiling. Pulling the left toes back and shooting through that left heel. Feel that calf stretch, hamstring stretch. Upper body's relaxed, neck is long, and right foot just resting on the floor. Okay, so slow, deep breathing. Being mindful of every part of the body. Every exhale, maybe seeing if you can work the left toes higher up towards the face, but again, not at the expense of the left knee bending. Little bend is okay, but just see if you can get it as straight as possible, really challenging the backs of the legs here. Okay, and then on your next inhale, let's extend the right leg down the mat. So now both legs are straight. Work the right toes back for the calf stretch. Press down through the calf. Might feel it a bit more towards your groin. And then you have the option of moving the hands up towards the left calf or taking hold of the foot even if the shoulders can stay relatively relaxed, if the back of the head can stay down. So we never want the back of the head to lift. So expansive in the chest here. Keep working the toes back. Few more breaths. And then exhale, release, and very slowly just let that left foot come down to the floor. Fantastic. Give your legs a little shake. And then we're going to take a cat stretch. So point the toes down the mat, arms overhead. Make yourself as long as you can. And then exhale. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. One last time. Back of the head on the floor. Squeezing the thighs in towards the belly. And then whenever you're ready, just pop yourself up into seated and make yourself into all fours. Come into an all four position. More hamstrings, a little bit of core. Here we go. But first, cat-cows. Yes. So why do we want to come into cat-cows? We want to come into cat-cows to open the shoulders, and also the round in the back can be very helpful. One for the core postures we're going to be doing in a minute, and also for elements of the headstand as well, actually. Sort of, I feel like tiptoeing the feet forward. You know, you don't keep the back dead straight. Maybe you do, but especially for the shoulders. But these core exercises we want to do. We're going to stretch into the belly as well. It's just a good all-round posture. I love it. So fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, pressing down through the hands. Now feeling a connection between the hands, the arms and the floor is going to be super important today. And even from this all four position, you want the arms to be straight, you want the shoulders to be nice and strong. Moving through our cat-cows now. So as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the hips, lift the chest, look forward, little back bend. And then as you exhale, round the back, tuck the hips under, chin to chest, arch the spine up towards the ceiling. So the inhale lifts the hips, lifts the chest, drops the belly, gently squeezing the shoulders together, and then your exhale rounds. The more you push into the hands, the deeper the stretch across the upper back and the shoulders. So keep this movement up. Inhale, lifts hips, lifts chest, you look forward, and then exhale, you're tucking the hips under, round in the back, arching the spine up towards the ceiling. So we're waving through the spine. Use your own breath. The whole of the inhale lifts and the whole of the exhale rounds. Really, really good posture for our spine. Our back doesn't get to move like this all that often. Good thing to do to stretch out back tight back muscles, back tight muscles. No need to rush. So always moving mindfully. Okay, fab, and then at the end of your next exhale, just come to a flat back. So fingers nice and spread underneath the shoulders. Shoulders are strong on your inhale. Just take your right leg back, toes tucked. So coming into another hamstring stretch here. So the toes are on the floor. We're looking straight down. So there's a straight line from the crown of the head all the way to the tailbone, traveling down that right leg. Pushing back through the right foot. Getting into the back of the right leg a bit more, but you should also feel some strength coming into your shoulders, your arms in these all four positions. So waking that area up, super important. Shoulders, number one. Breath steady. And then exhale, bring that right knee down, and then on your inhale, left leg back, toes tucked. Pushing back through the left foot, drawing the heel to the back of the room. Looking straight down, straight line, crown of the head to tailbone to heel. Fingers spread, shoulders strong. And then exhale, bring that left knee down. Fab. So coming into child's pose now, if possible, have your feet and knees together. Draw your bum towards your heels and bring your arms either side of the body, forehead towards mat, and just let the shoulders relax, maybe give your wrists a wriggle. Now if this variation of child's pose is not comfortable for you, you can leave the arms out in front, or you can separate the knees and leave the feet together. That's okay, but if possible, just come back to this version here. Taking a couple of breaths, you should feel quite a nice release in your lower back, maybe tops of your legs. And then inhale, make your way back up into all fours. Back. We're going to put the last two postures together now. We're going to put the sort of hamstring posture and the cat-cow posture together into a core posture. So if you just watch me for a second, what we're going to do is we're going to come through that. We're going to point the toes here, and then what we want to incorporate into this posture is the round of the back in the cat-cows. So as you inhale, you're going to swoop the knee through to the nose, round the back, chin to chest, arch the upper back like you were doing before, and then exhale, we're going to take that leg back, okay? That is what we're going to do. Starting to wake the core up, starting to get the hip flexors working. Remember, again, with the headstand prep, we want to bring the thighs as close as possible in towards the body. You need to get the hips stacked, and this movement here is going to help with that. So from your all four position, fingers spread. As you inhale, first of all, just take your right leg back, toes on the floor, press back through the right foot. Beginning with the hamstring stretch. Looking straight down. And then on your next inhale, you can raise the right leg up off the floor, then point the toes. So we're not hiking that right hip up, the right hip's facing the floor very high. Sharing the weight between the hands, so we're not leaning over towards the left too much. And then as you inhale, swoop the knee through, drop the head, chin to chest, knee to nose. And then exhale, take that leg back. So we're going to hold the knee to nose just for a count. So don't rush these. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back, chin to chest, squeeze. And then exhale, take that leg back. Fab. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back, chin to chest. Exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back, chin to chest, hip flexors core. And then exhale, take that leg back. 3 more. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back. Exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back, chin to chest. Exhale, take that leg back. Last one. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, take that leg back. Bring that knee down and you're back into all fours. Whew. Okay, other side. From your all four position, on your inhale, take your left leg back, toes tucked, toes on the floor to begin with. Push back through the left heel, feel the stretch in the calf, the hamstring. Breath steady, fingers spread. And then as you inhale, raise the left foot off the floor, point the toes. So don't hike that left hip up, hip bone faces down. Then we want all the same components of that cat-cow. As you inhale, swoop left knee through, arch the back, nose to knee. And then exhale, take that leg back, sharing the weight between the hands. Inhale, knee to nose, chin to chest. Then exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, nose to knee, round the back. Exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, nose to knee, round the back. Exhale, take that leg back. 3 more. Inhale, nose to knee, push into the hand, shoulders strong. Exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, nose to knee. Exhale, take that leg back. Last one, I think. Inhale, knee to nose, round the back, hold it here. Then take that leg back, wonderful. Then bring that knee down and then make your way into child's pose if possible. Feet, knees together, arms either side of the body, forehead to mat. If that's not comfortable, finding a version that is for you and your body. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And then to work into the shoulders, a little deeper from this position, you're going to interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders back towards one another. And then as you inhale, lift the straightest arms you can away from your back. At this point, the bum is still drawing down towards the heels. We have not lifted the bum away from the heels. So while the bum's coming back, the arms are lifting up, feeling that stretch in the shoulders across the chest. Don't worry if your shoulders are a little bit tight and the arms only come up a couple of inches, that's okay. Just do your best. And then exhale, let the arms flop either side of the body, maybe give your wrists a wriggle. And then inhale, make your way back up into seated. The radiator's on. Oh my God. So if you watch my videos a lot, you will know that I moan about this all the time. I turned the heating off today and he's literally turned it back on. He is old, which is fair enough, but live with my granddad, by the way. Enough about that. I just thought that's something you should know. If you do my classes, I'm right up against the radiator. It's a big point of contention with me. Okay, baby press-ups. It's time to start to work into the shoulders a little bit more. Now, when we come through these baby press-ups, we're going to focus on dropping the chin forward and down. We're going to see if we can keep the elbows over the wrists. So it looks a little bit like this. So from the all-four position, you leave your hips high. You can cross the ankles or leave the feet uncrossed, up to you. Now what we're going to do is inhale, then as we exhale, imagining the forearms are kind of immovable things. We're going to lower the chin forward and down while keeping the elbows over the wrists, and then we're going to hover the chin off the floor. And then we're going to inhale back up. And then we're going to keep doing that till your arms drop off. So this is a really good way to start supercharging the shoulders. Last all four posture we're going to do. So come into your all four position, fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Now, keeping the elbows over the wrists, we're going to turn the inside of the elbows to face forward because we want the elbows to bend backwards as we come down. Inhale here, then as you exhale, lower the chin forward and down, elbows stay over the wrists, elbows hug ribs, hold. And then inhale, push yourself back up. Fab. Exhale, chin forward and down. And then inhale, push yourself back up. Wonderful. Exhale, chin forward and down. Inhale, back up. Two more. Exhale, chin forward and down. And inhale, back up. Last one. Exhale, chin forward and down. Inhale, back up. And then feet and knees together. Arms either side of the body. Forehead to floor, come back to child's pose. Maybe give your wrists a little wriggle. Take a couple of deeper breaths if your breath got a little bit weird then. And listen carefully to my next instructions. So we're still in child's pose. Interlace your hands behind your back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and again lift your arms away from your lower back. So coming back to the posture we done previously. Now we're going to sort of get a sense of what it feels like to take a little bit more weight through the crown of the head. If you have a neck injury, do not do this. If you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it. Otherwise, on your next inhale, we're going to lift the bum away from the heels and roll up onto the crown of the head. This is the crown of the head, it's not the forehead, it's not the back of the head, right on top of the head. It may give you a bit more room to open up into the shoulders, but more importantly than that, you're just getting a sense of, like I said, what it feels like to be on the crown of your head. So if at any point this doesn't feel comfortable, come out the posture. Otherwise, couple more breaths. And then exhale. Bum back down to the heels, arms either side of the body, let the shoulders relax for a second. And then inhale, pop yourself back up into all fours, fantastic. So downward dog. We're going to come through downward dog, we're going to come into a 3-leg down dog, have a rest, and then we're going to do those knee to nose sets from downward dog. Again, shoulders. Do all our shoulders, the core. So let's just do downward dog and work on extending one leg back at sort of one time. But downward dog, fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tuck your toes, send your hips up and back. We are not pedaling the heels in this downward dog, so keep the feet static. You want your hands roughly shoulder width apart, your feet roughly hip width apart, and you can bend the knees as much as you need to. The heels can be off the floor, no problem. Just seeing if we can find a straight line from the hands up the arms, up the spine, and then push forward with the hands to take the hips back. The arms are straight, the arms are strong, and the head tilts back between the arms, eventually looking towards your navel. Even if you can't see your navel, it's kind of the direction your eyes are supposed to be moving in. But I find it more comfortable just to look back between my upper thighs. Either way, as long as the neck relaxed, I don't mind. Don't care. Okay, lovely. So feeling that deep stretch back of the legs, lower back. And we're going to just extend that stretch, going to supercharge the hamstrings. Now, on your next inhale, I want you to raise your right leg behind you, point the toes. Doesn't have to come very high. Again, we don't want to hike the right hip up so high that the pelvis starts facing sideways. So keep the hips facing down. And then really push back through the left leg. Going to feel that deeper stretch in the hamstring and the calf. You can have the heel off the floor. The heel doesn't have to be down. Pointing the right toes. A few more breaths. And then exhale, bring right foot down. Fab, other side. Inhale, left leg back. Point the toes. Push back through the right leg. No need to take that leg too high. No need to hike that hip too high. We're doing this predominantly to prep for the next posture, which is the most important part, or to supercharge that right hamstring. It's not about looking good with the left leg. And then exhale, bring that right foot down. Amazing. Back into your knees, come into child's pose, whichever version you liked. Give your wrists a wriggle, have a little breather. Reflect on how that felt. And then inhale back up into all fours. Okay, so before we come up to standing and we do some stuff like that, we are going to put that posture and the nose to knee movement together. So watch me for a second. As we come through this, as we bring the nose to the knee, we're going to focus on the shoulders. We want to get the shoulders over the wrists. We're really bringing the weight forward. So as we swoop the knee through to the nose, you may even end up on the tiptoes of your back foot. So from downward dog, it looks like this. We're going to raise the leg. As we inhale, we're going to swoop the knee through to the nose. Now, this isn't helping anyone, you know. So what you need to do is inhale, weight forward into the shoulders, knee to nose. I'm on the tiptoes of my back foot, and then press back. Even if you're not coming forward that far, see if you can bring the weight forward a little bit into the shoulders. Headstand, number one area of the shoulders. So the more you can get the weight forward, feel like you're supercharging the upper body, the better this is going to be, with the added benefit of waking the core up again by bringing the knee to the nose. Let's do it. I'm going to be quite strict in this class. I think it's really important to be a little bit more serious when you're looking at maybe a little bit more serious postures. So from your rule 4 position, fingers spread, tuck your toes, downward dog. Okay, setting the hands, setting the feet, making sure you feel comfortable. And then as you inhale, right leg back, point the toes. Hold it here. Just get a little feel for the posture. And then on your next inhale, bring in the right knee through to the nose. Bring the weight forward, shoulders over wrists. And then exhale, take that leg back. Slow movements. Inhale, weight forward, knee to nose, round in the back. And then exhale, take that weight back. Inhale, knee to nose, all the weight in the arms, the shoulders. And then exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, back. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, back, last one. Inhale, knee to nose. And exhale, back. Bring that foot down. Inhale, left leg up. Point the toes. Taking a breath, setting the posture up, making sure you feel stable through the hands, through the back foot. And then on your next inhale, weight comes forward, shoulders over wrists, knee to nose, round the back. And then exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, knee to nose. And exhale, take that leg back. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, back. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, back, doing amazing. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, back, last one. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, back. Bring that foot down. Take a breath. From here, step, jump or walk your feet between your hands, look forward. Exhale, drop the head, hold it here. So your legs are together, the balls of your feet are together, the ankles are slightly apart. Your hands or fingertips are on the floor, we're just coming into a little forward fold. Bending the knees as much as you need to. Legs don't have to be straight, but really let the head relax. Head's heavy, it helps us to stretch through the spine, acting as a downward weight. And then as you inhale, swoop the arms up, look up. And then exhale, arms by your side. Sort my shorts out. Amazing. Oh, okay, so have a little drink. Have a little drink. Hopefully you feel pumped. Hopefully you're like tuned in and doing like bro arms. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit stronger in the shoulders. Shoulders number 1, hamstrings number 2, core number 3 in my opinion. Hamstrings number 1 to get up, to be fair. Core's maybe number 2. The heat off this radiator. Ooh, I'm gonna have to have some serious words after this. So the next thing we're going to do some wide-legged folds. We're going to do the 4 Ashtanga variations. The reason we're doing this predominantly, a great way to work into the hamstrings, also the shoulders, but what I want you to focus on more with these forward folds is just getting a sense of being upside down. They're inversions. An inversion in yoga isn't just a handstand or a headstand. It's anything where your head is below your chest. You're upside down. And when we come through these forward folds, I want you to focus on bringing the hips over the legs. So there's a bit of a tendency when people do these forward folds to do that. They stick their bum back and they sink back, and that's not what we want. What we want is to move the hips forward. So the weight comes into the toes. It can be really important when eventually you come up into your full headstand to feel the weight moving forward to find your tipping point almost and to work with it. So that's what I want you to focus on. So feet together. Then as you inhale, take a step back with your right foot. Feet parallel, hands to hips. Okay? So as you inhale, lift the chest up and then exhale, fold forward. Take your fingertips in line with your toes to begin with. You inhale, look forward, lengthen, and then exhale, fold. Crown of the head drops down towards the floor. Doesn't have to hit the floor, it's just the closest as possible as it can be to the floor. And then if you have the room, you're more than welcome to move your hands back between your legs, but the fingers face forward. The elbows are over the wrists and the elbows are in line with the shoulders. Okay, now from here, bring the weight forward into the toes, almost like you're going to topple over. It's going to deepen the stretch up the back of the legs. Hips high, head low, breath steady. Few more moments here. And then inhale, look forward. Exhale, hands to hips, hover. And then inhale, come up to standing. Lovely. Exhale, pause here. Now inhale, arms wide stretch. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, chest lifts up. Exhale, you're folding forward. This time hands stay on the hips. Crown of the head drops and then lift your elbows. Now again, weight forward, bring it forward so you feel your big toes pressing down into the floor. Not sinking back too heavy in the hips. Can feel a little bit weird, a little bit uncomfortable, especially without the hands on the floor for that extra support. But see what it feels like. Maybe move the weight forward and back a little bit. Get a sense of what it's like to balance in the front of your foot rather than the back. What it feels like to bring the weight forward. Okay, lovely. Then inhale all the way up. And then exhale, pause here. Inhale, arms wide stretch. And then exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. You inhale, lift the chest. And then exhale, diving forward again. Crown of the head drops once you're in your fold. Lifting your arms overhead towards the ceiling, towards the floor. And again, play around with that idea of moving the weight forward, as far forward as you can, while still feeling grounded, and feel that big stretch up the back of the legs. Working into the shoulders across the chest here as well, letting the head be very heavy. And then inhale all the way up, fantastic. Then exhale, this time hands straight to hips. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Take hold of your big toes, first two fingers and thumbs off the mat. You're going to inhale, look forward, straighten the arms, and then exhale, fold, crown of the head drops. Now keep your wrists over your ankles, pick up into the toes, keep your elbows over your wrists and your elbows in line with your shoulders. So trying to make that 90-degree angle with the arms. Lift your shoulders, draw them back towards your waist. So with the headstands, whenever we come up into them fully, or even with the prep, there's a tendency to let the shoulders sink down to the ears, but keep them drawing down the spine. Keep your arms strong in this. The arms aren't weak in this, the arms are lifted. Then bring the weight forward. And then inhale, look forward. And then exhale, hands to hips, hover. Strengthen the legs, you inhale, push yourself up. And then exhale, step to the front of your mat. Wonderful, give your legs a little shake. Okay. Come down onto your mats. I was going to make everyone do a sun salutation through it, but no point. Come onto the mats and just have a little drink. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of dolphins. Dolphins. Number one, prep for headstand. The reason they are so good is because they work into the shoulders massively. They also work into the hamstrings. Now, when we come through dolphin, the hand positioning really is almost very similar to how we want the head. We want to keep the head head off the floor. That's why it's so strong in the shoulders. I'll just quickly show you what it looks like and then we'll have a go if you've never done it before. It's like downward dog but on your forearms. So with dolphin, what you do is you come down onto your forearms. Oh, we can do it together. Let's do it together. So come down onto your forearms. Now we don't want to take the elbows too wide. So from here, just make sure you can hold onto your elbows with your hands. Okay? That's the width we want in dolphin. And then just take your forearms back out. Now we want the forearms ideally to be parallel, fingers spread. Now as we push up into dolphin, well from this position, just let your shoulders sink down towards the floor. Let your shoulders sort of collapse in towards one another, the chest sinks down. And now press into the forearms and lift the shoulders. Okay, so you can watch me if you didn't quite get that. But let the chest sag down, relax the shoulders collapse in. Now press into the forearms and lift the shoulders. You feel the difference? Once more. Let the chest collapse down, the shoulders collapse towards one another, weak shoulders. Then press into the forearms, press the shoulders upwards. You feel that? It's like that. If you look at me, you know what I'm doing. So we want to keep it in this position. We want to be pressing into the floor and keeping the shoulders lifted and strong, and so they're not collapsing in towards one another, that everything is nice and strong and broad upper body. Okay, now from here, tuck the toes, hips up and back. Right, so your head is off the floor now. Yes, it is. So your head is off the floor. You're looking back between your legs. You're pressing into the shoulders. It's this strength in the shoulders that keeps the head off the floor. Your head is not on the floor. If your head's on the floor, you need to push into the shoulders more. You can bend the knees if you want. You can take the feet back if it's killing your hamstrings. Or you can have the heels down if the hamstrings feel up to it. Press into the shoulders, lift the head. Draw the hips back. Do not let your head touch the floor. You're looking back between your legs. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can come down onto your knees. You can have a rest in child's pose, arms either side of the body, or grab a drink. Maybe give your arms a shake. Arms a little shake. Okay, so if your head touched the floor, you need to press into the shoulders a little bit more. This is all about the shoulders. So cringy. Okay, let's do that again. So this time you can come out of it and have a rest at any point you need to. This time we're going to see if we can tiptoe the feet forward. So we'll come into the posture like we've done before, hold it for 5, maybe tiptoe the feet forward, hold it for 5. We'll see how we get on. Again, don't worry about tiptoeing the feet forward. If it's already feeling like you're on your edge, just play around with that shape, have a rest when you need to. So coming down onto your forearms, seeing if you can grab your elbows to check the distance between them is correct. Then bringing your forearms back down, palms spread. Now press, even before you tuck the toes, press into the forearms to get the shoulders strong. Remember, your head is going to be off the floor. You're just going to be looking back between your legs. Then as you inhale, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back. Now press in to the forearms to lift the head. The shoulders are strong. Press in the hips backwards. It's a really strong posture, dolphin. Kind of a nice name for a hard posture. So holding it here. Okay, so pressing into the shoulders to keep the head off the floor, looking straight back between the legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So having a rest, staying here, or maybe tiptoeing the feet forward, then pushing the hips back, head off the floor, shoulders strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Staying here, having a rest, or maybe tiptoeing the feet forward, pressing the hips back, head off the floor, shoulders strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax, relax, come down, feet, knees together, bum towards heels and arms either side of the body. Give your shoulders a chance to relax. you're ready, come up into seated. Grab a drink. Okay, there's dolphin, number 1 prep. Like I said, when you come up into headstand, whenever you eventually fully come up, test yourself by seeing if you can be upside down and push into the hands to get the head a millimetre even off the floor and hold it there. Dolphin's very good because the head has to be off the floor. That's the kind of strength we need in the shoulders when we come up into headstand. We don't want to allow the shoulders, like we've done in the first part, to collapse in towards one another, to come up by the ears and then to crunch down through the head. What we want to do is have the shoulders doing most of the work for us. I keep going on about it because it's very important. Now we're going to have a go at the headstand prep. The headstand prep is effectively dolphin, except we're going to have the arms in a different position, and you can have the head on the floor. For the prep, you're not going to be able to take the head off the floor, okay? That's only once you start coming upside down. But for the prep, the crown of the head is on the floor, but we still want the same amount of effort in the shoulders, so you're not bearing down too heavy in the head. So I'll show you what it looks like very quickly and then we'll break it down. So the headstand prep, the arms are going to be in a different position, which I'll explain in a minute. And then you tuck the toes and you, like dolphin, okay? You just walk the legs in. So that's what we're going to have a go at now. We're not going to lift the feet up this time round. So everyone can have a go at the prep. Hands in headstand. First of all, headstand, crown of the head, not forehead, not back of the head, crown of the head. Everyone gives you all of these stupid exercises to do, which let you know what the crown. You know what the crown of the head is. You're an adult. I'm not going to give you like fancy things to do with your fingers. Right on the top of the head, not the forehead, not the back of the head. Okay. Now, take your forearms to the floor. Make sure you can take your own elbows. And then take your forearms back out, but this time what we're going to do is interlace the hands to make a fist. So we've made a triangular shape with the arms. Now some people are a little bit weak with the hands. They'll make like a basket with the hands. They'll make like a basket like the hands, like this. Don't do that. A fist. A fist, okay? Hands are strong. So we want the hands to be like this, we don't want the hands to be like that. So hand strong, arm strong, triangular shape with the arms. So you can hold your own elbows, that's the distance you want, not too wide, not too narrow. Triangular shape fist, thumbs across at the top. Then from here you're just going to nestle the crown of your head in that space just in front of the fist. So you should feel the arms are kind of cradling your head here, okay? Crown of the head's on the floor, you've made a fist with the arms, feet hip width apart, tuck your toes, send your hips up and back, hold it here. Actually, you can do this. So, press into the arms to lift the head ever so slightly off the floor here. And then you can just drop the head back down, and then press into the arms to sort of lift the crown of the head off the floor. And then drop the head back down. You see the difference? You can keep the head on the floor, but keep the strength in the shoulders. Now tiptoe your feet in as far as you can. Eventually, the only way you're going to be able to pike up into headstand is if you get your hips over your shoulders. So get those toes in as much as possible. Keep pressing through the forearms, keep the weight out the head. Breathe. This should be really difficult. I find it quite hard as well. And then exhale, just relax, come down, take a child's pose, arms either side of the body. Okay, so if you were doing that correctly, that should have felt hard. So just rest in child's pose for a second. That's the prep for headstand, that's where you stay. If you're in an Ashtanga class, you've never done headstand before, it's not the time to learn. Unless someone's going to come around and actually show you. That's where you stay, the prep. You press into the arms, you tiptoe the feet in. Now, if you can practice that, you can keep practicing that. I'm just going to show you the technique. You can take this away, do it in your own time. So come up, the next thing you're going to do, and again, as you can see, you're never going to be able to come up into headstand piking, not like in a nasty way, but just in a sort of patience way until you can get the feet right in towards the body. You see, the hips need to be over the shoulders. If you're back here, this is going to happen. So that's why we were working the hamstrings, the hip flexors. So what we're going to do this time, so we're going to set the hands up, crown of the head down, we're going to walk the feet in, we're going to see if we can just squeeze one leg in towards the body like this, drop the foot, squeeze the other leg, drop the foot. And while we do that, we want all the weight in the shoulders. We don't want to be collapsing down into the head. And this is where we're going to stay today, okay, after we've done this one. Unless you have your own headstand practice at this point, go wild. But this is the last exercise we're going to do because this is the prep. The dolphins, the headstand dolphin thing, and this squeeze in the thigh in towards the belly. So if you're really struggling to tiptoe the feet in towards the arms, maybe stay in the first variation, the one we just practiced, and work on the strength in the shoulders, or maybe even go back to dolphin and work on lengthening the hamstrings a little bit. And this one really only starts to work when you can get the hips over the shoulders a little bit more, otherwise it becomes very uncomfortable. So choose whatever we've done, choose it. You stay in, remember it's not a competition. Otherwise we'll go through this prep. Okay, so down onto your forearms. Take your elbows. Take your fists. Fist, not weak basket hand, fist. Then place the triangular shape on the floor. The crown of your head is going to rest right at the top of the fist. And then you are going to tuck your toes and you're going to send your hips up and back. You may want to stay here today, just pressing into the arms, maybe lift and drop the head to start feeling that strength in the shoulders. Or tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe your feet forward, hips start to come over the shoulders. Now from here, as you inhale, squeeze your right thigh in towards your belly. And then exhale, release. Keep pressing through the shoulders. Inhale, left thigh in towards belly. Exhale, release. Inhale, right thigh in towards belly. Keep pressing through the shoulders. Exhale, release. Inhale, left thigh in towards belly. Exhale, release, last one. Inhale, right thigh in towards belly. Exhale, release, inhale, left thigh in towards belly. Exhale, release. Come down into child's pose, arms either side of the body, rest here for a moment. Okay, and then inhale, make your way quickly back up into seated. So we're not gonna do any more. I wanted to show you the preparation today. Again, this isn't the right format to teach someone who's never done a headstand. I need to be with you. Like I said, who's gonna catch you when you fall? Me. And everyone falls. Everyone falls to begin with. Now, you can see the natural progression of what's gonna happen, can't you? So the next steps, I'll show you, we're not going to do them here if you feel comfortable to do them at home, as long as you've got the strength in the shoulders. Remember, if you're crunching down into your neck, don't bother, no point, work on the dolphins instead. If anyone's feeling this in their neck, if they come into that child's pose afterwards and it feels like through their neck, like a big release, it's an indication you were taking too much pressure into the head. So I recommend staying with dolphin. The next step would simply be tip, tip, tiptoe, one leg in, one leg up, okay? And you would stay in this egg position. Then from there, people tend to straighten the legs, all right? But we're not doing that today. I just wanted to show you, if you have a headstand practice, that's what you would do. Now, eventually we want to get away from that. We want to pike the legs up. Piking the legs up means both legs are together and the legs come up straight. Like I said at the beginning, lifting the legs is the least important part. Everyone thinks it's about lifting the legs, it's not. Once you've got the shoulders working, once you have the hamstrings tiptoeing in so the hips are over the shoulders, once you have the core working, you'll find the legs lift up before you even know what's happening. you can't help it. You can't have all three things working together and the legs not lift up. It's impossible. So eventually, once you've got all three things working, shoulders, hamstrings, core, it's impossible not to let the legs start to lift, okay? That will happen naturally. You don't have to try. So that's why I wanted everyone to know what the prep is. Once you've got the prep, you're on your way. And again, don't get caught up on headstand. There's no point in coming up into a crappy headstand that's going to hurt your neck. There is literally no point. What? And then you're going to be out for 2 weeks. You won't be able to do any yoga. So dolphins. It's where people need to stay for a while. If you're here in your dolphin, okay, if your feet are massively far away, and if your knees are bent and you look like this, if your head sometimes hits the floor, you're not ready for headstand. You're only really ready to start practicing the headstand once you can keep the head off the floor and once the feet can come right in. Maybe not this, you don't have to be this far, but once you can walk the feet in comfortably, once the hamstrings have started to wake up. It's no rush, no rush. I feel like there's a lot I want to say about it because I was there when I first started practicing yoga. I wanted to do the headstand. I look back at pictures of my headstand now and I think, geez, you were lucky not to hurt yourself. Everything just looked awful and I'm just conscious, you know. But you can all practice that prep. Prep is a very good place to stay. You're very close to the floor. It's very safe. And first and foremost, shoulders, okay? Shoulders need to be strong. We are just going to come and have a rest now. I feel like I've had to go at everyone. But I just feel like I wanted to say all of that. Okay, dodgy headstands. Ugh. And then we're just going to have a little rest. You can actually come into child's pose, hang out in child's pose for a bit if you've been working on your full headstand, if that's in your practice and you've been doing it. Just make sure you take a headstand, not a headstand, another headstand. Just make sure you take a child's pose after that. And then make your way into Shavasana, do a couple of twists. At this point, really, you want to wind down however you want to wind down. I'm just going to bring everyone into Shavasana now who didn't come up into the full headstand, who's done the child's pose, and then just relax. So, shoulders, hamstring, core, little bit of hip flexor action. It's very helpful for if you're right at the beginning and you're just working on that prep or bringing the knee and the thigh in towards the belly while upside down. That's when all that hip flexor stuff really helps. Okay, so letting your breath come back to normal. Letting everything just relax. Okay, and you're more than welcome to stay here, or you can slowly make your way out of the posture now by wiggling your fingers, your toes, taking a cat stretch and maybe hugging your knees in towards your tummy, rocking from side to side. At this point, just do whatever feels good for your lower back. And then making your way up to seated, okay? So, yes, that was the headstand prep. When we get back into the classroom together, I'm more than happy to show people what the full headstand is, but like everyone falls to begin with, right? And everyone has to struggle through it a little bit and figure it out. I understand that, but it's very important to keep the weight into the shoulders and not into the neck. And I say this as someone who ballses up their neck quite a lot. Now, one thing you can do is headstand up against a wall. Very helpful to have a wall if you feel like your shoulders are strong enough and you feel like you've got the strength to support the posture, but you're worried about falling, then the wall is your best friend. Over time, you just move yourself gradually further away from it, and there's that. And you can also put pillows around and duvets around. Now, there are 7 types of headstand in Ashtanga. Each of them have different hand positionings. This is known as a supported headstand, which means the hands are very close to the head, A tripod headstand, for example, would be an unsupported headstand. Now, I much prefer this version of a headstand to a tripod headstand, but there are 7 kinds, and if you are working a little deeper with your headstands, you're progressing, you might want to go check out the different hand positionings. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Please, when you're doing this video, if you're replaying it or sharing it, please just, you know, make sure people are being mindful doing it. Alright, I'm off now. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week, I guess, for some more classes. If you've got any questions, give me a shout, and I'll see you next time.